Yo, what's good with you? Back in black with another Enlisted video. If you guys are new to the channel and you love shooting games just like me, make sure you aim for that like button and shoot that subscribe button as well. It'll help you find better teammates and improve skill-based matchmaking. At least I hope so. In this video, we're going to be providing some more feedback for the latest Enlisted event called Even Fight, which features British and Italian forces facing off on Tunisia maps only. This is another one of those fixed squad events where everything is predetermined as far as the loadouts are concerned, and you have no jurisdiction over the team that you end up playing on. Me personally, I've yet to play on the British team as of yet, and I played 4 games thus far, so I don't know if that's kind of like a coincidence, but in the last event I kind of felt the same way, where like I ended up on the allies 8 times out of 10, so it doesn't seem to be very even kill as far as probability is concerned. But neither here nor there. This time around, as far as requirements, they're asking for 9,000 a day, which is up from the last event at 5,000 per day. And I suppose as a trade-off, we're only getting our classic enlisted game mode, so they do last a bit longer. And I say that to imply that you typically can get a lot more XP this time around, as opposed to those 15-minute airborne paratrooper games that you had to take the bridge on from the last event. And in my experience, it only takes me about 1 to 2 games to complete my event requirement for the day. But I can totally understand how 9,000 may be more of a daunting task for brand new players who don't already have a high score average because they're getting used to the game, or because they're new in general. And I want to be fair and say that, since the squads are prefixed, if you're mechanically good at shooting games in general, I don't feel that it should be much of an issue as far as completing your task. But worst case scenario, if you just really having a hard time, you can buy another one of those event XP boosters, but I typically don't find those to be worth the money, as opposed to just improving at the game and getting more XP that way. But getting into the part where I can finally address the elephant in the room, man, we gotta talk about these rewards, because this is a complete 180 from the last event in terms of being properly rewarded for your time investment in the game. And what's even more crazy is that free-to-play grindy games like Enlisted should have a main goal or objective as far as like incentivizing time spent in the game. But I fear these rewards may either have the opposite effect, or it might be one of those things where only people who are going to play the game anyways end up participating in the event, as opposed to bringing in a bunch of new players who want something new and shiny, or people who haven't played in a long time. But to be more precise, we are getting a BR1 tank skin that has no additional gameplay advantage. I mean, it does look cool, don't get me wrong, but I doubt that people are going to be chomping at the bit to get their hands on this. We're also getting 2 portraits that I imagine 90% of players don't really care about, because 1, you don't really see portraits enough in this game for them to matter. They need to enhance their social features, and 2, the portraits are more so complementary to the main reward, which brings me to my main and everybody else's main complaint, I would imagine, and that is the fact that the main rewards themselves are not bad, but the quantity of said rewards is basically disrespectful. In a game based on squads, they decide to give you 1 Lewis gun, which is something that could totally be added to the tech tree, mind you, for multiple nations to flesh out their arsenal. And then they also give you 1 Che Regati, which is featured in Battlefield 1, and one of my favorite weapons, mind you, along with the Self-Stilator 1916. But neither here nor there. Let me repeat myself to really drive home that this game is based on squads of soldiers, and in an event that requires you to commit to playing every day. Right off the heels of Battlefield 6, mind you, they offer you 2 singular weapons. If that's not a slap in the face, it's definitely more of a deterrent than an incentive to play. And honestly, I don't think there's any reason that they couldn't give out 3 to 5 of each, or at least they could have considered giving out 1 British and 1 Italian squad, where each member had one of the weapons that were being featured in this event, considering as well that this game is composed and based on squads. But hey, what do I know? The way they are giving out these singular weapons, you would have thought you were playing Call of Duty or something of the sort. And I gotta say, man, whoever is in charge of the rewards, you gotta do better, dude. This is more of a debuff to people's dopamine levels than a buff, I'm sure. But aside from the rewards, because they didn't really give us much to talk about in that category, the last thing I did want to talk about is the event itself and how it plays, or the gameplay I should say. Again, I haven't been on the British team yet myself, but I can say that between both teams, these are probably the most intense string of Tunisian campaign games I have ever played in my life when it comes to Enlisted. Every point lately has been heavily contested and hard fought, and I am really impressed with the vigor that people are playing with when it comes to this event. You would have thought the rewards were actually good, or it's crazy, but it is very fun. And I also want to say that this has been a good way of experiencing not only the Tunisian campaign in general, which rarely pops up for me, but also the new and improved Kahib Cave Village, which I must say is much more enjoyable to play on as of late compared to years ago when the Tunisian campaign first came out and it came up all the time. It's hard to speak on the balance again because I haven't played on both sides, but I encourage you guys to drop your opinions on that. For anybody who has played on the British side, just let me know if you feel like it's balanced between both. I picked up the Lewis gun a few times and it seems like a pretty decent gun, really good for defensive purposes, or when you can get set up on a ledge or in a window or something like that. And I suppose the last thing that I wanted to mention is that this event kind of shows that Italy and Great Britain can definitely stand on their own as separate factions, and that is something that I highly advocate for because it would give me a new faction to grind for, considering that I'm already kind of done with the game for the most part. But let me know what you guys think. How do you feel about the event overall and the rewards? Me personally, I am baffled, mostly because I just gave them so much praise on their last event. Well, I guess as far as the rewards that they had on offer, and then they turn around and then they're just giving out singular guns and like a tank skin in BR1, mind you. Again, I say is that to say or imply that this game is composed of squads where each squad typically has 4 to 9 people, so I do find that to be kind of weird, and this kind of stuff makes you wish that gold orders were still around. And since they're not, I'm just wondering, like, I'm gonna play the event, but it's like a part of me is just like, why am I doing this, or is it really worth doing this? Especially, again, I say Battlefield 6 came out not too long ago, and that game has been pretty fun. But I'm not gonna sit up here and glaze Battlefield 6 in this video. I just kind of want to point out that usually when the big hitter shooter games come out, that's usually when you, as a shooter gamer or somebody who is running a shooter game, should want to bring your A game, and it just kind of feels like they're just coasting along, like they don't really care, they're not really trying to grow. I don't know, maybe this event is something that's more so aimed towards the newer players, but let me know what you guys are thinking down there as far as feedback is concerned. If I had to rate this event on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm feeling like a 4.5 or a 5. Like, it's fun to play, but like the stuff that they're giving you for playing isn't really like making me excited or moving the needle or like boosting the dopamine. But yeah, let me know what you guys are thinking, and I do appreciate you guys very much for watching. Don't forget to aim for that like button, shoot that subscribe button as well. Hope you find better teammates and improve skill-based matchmaking. Yeah, hope you guys have a lovely rest of your day. I will let you enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Black guy out.